In today's show, the Blazers have finally perfected the art of tanking. And they've finally broken my spirit. Welcome to Locked On Blazers. Let's get into it.
You are Locked On Trailblazers, your daily Portland Trailblazers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What up, world? It's your past first point guard and Trailblazers reporter, Mike Richmond. You are listening to another episode of Locked On Blazers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, available wherever you get podcasts and also on YouTube. Thanks for making the show your first listen every single day. It's free on all platforms, coming at you 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. So make it part of your daily routine and make it your first listen. It's Locked On Blazers, your team every day. In today's show, the Blazers play a fun 40 minutes of basketball against the Memphis Grizzlies. A really entertaining first 40 minutes, and then they let me down. They let me down in the final 8 minutes. We'll talk about that entertaining first portion of the game and those final 8 minutes, and we'll celebrate Skylar Mays, who I don't know if Skylar Mays is earning himself an NBA spot, but he's proving he's an NBA player during this stretch. And if the Blazers are doing anything that's commendable at this stretch of the season, it's giving guys like Skylar Mays a chance to show that they can be legitimate contributors. So let's get into all of that. I'm going to get mad in the middle of the show, but I promise I'll close it on a positive note. The Blazers really did break my spirit tonight. It is, congrats to them. I've blogged intentional losses, or audio blog, video blog, vlogged. Is that the right word? I've podcasted, made content around intentional losses for many months now. And today was the day they finally got me. That's what we'll talk about in the second segment. First, let's do what we do. Fastest recap in the West. Blazers lose 119-109. They did not score 115 points, so they did not have the opportunity to win. They were down big early, down 19 in the first quarter, down 41-25 after one. Looked like it just might be that kind of day. And it might be that kind of day because the starters were Nate Williams, Kevin Knox, Drew Eubanks, Shaedon Sharpe, and Skylar Mays, and they only had 4 guys available off the bench: Shaq Harrison, John Butler Jr., Jabari Walker, and the signed today 10-day contract to end the season, Justin Minaya out of the G League. No Cam Reddish, no Trent Watford, no Matisse Thybulle, no dudes that are holding out on purpose. Real injuries and fake injuries have caught up with them. They're just, they're in a weird spot, right? Like they just have, they're shorthanded, some of it intentionally, some of it not. And it felt like in that first quarter, like, oh, okay, well, this is kind of what happens. This is what they want to happen anyways. But then they battled back. Big second quarter, scored 37 points in the second quarter, do it mostly in transition and in the paint. Go into halftime down 66-62. Stick with it the whole third quarter, 96-95 after 3. Final 12 minutes, like, it's going to be a toss-up. In fact, the Blazers led by 5 in the fourth quarter. They led 101-96 with 9 minutes to go in this game. A 5-point lead, 9 minutes left. On the road against the number 2 team in the West, against the team with 36, now 37 home wins this year, most home wins of any team in the NBA. One of the best defenses in the league, one of the best teams at forcing turnovers in the league, a team that crushes you on the glass. The Blazers didn't turn the ball over. They held their own on the glass, and here they were with a chance to win the game on the road in Memphis. But Grizzlies come back. They tied up at 101 with 7 minutes and 55 seconds left. The Blazers take a timeout. They pull rookie Shaedon Sharpe from the game. He doesn't re-enter. Memphis Grizzlies go on an 18-8 run in the final 8 minutes against the Blazers F team, Q team. Like, I don't know how far we are down. Certainly not the B team. This is the B team of the Q team. Grizzlies close it out and they win 119-109. That's your fastest recap in the West. 24 from Skylar Mays. He was great. It was great. Big first half, 17 in the first half. He 24 points, 8 boards, 7 assists, did not turn the ball over in 36 minutes on the ball. Skylar Mays was great in this game. Great. Shaedon Sharpe, 20. to go along with 8 boards and 6 assists in 29 minutes. Shaq Harrison, 13 off the bench. Jabari Walker, 16 off the bench. He had a really nice first half. 10 from John Butler Jr. Justin Minaya in his Blazers debut had 8. Drew Eubanks, 8 points, 8 boards, 3 assists, blocked 4 shots, played his butt off. Really nice game from Drew. 6 from Kevin Knox, 4 from Nate Williams. Nate Williams plays hard. His shot did not look good tonight. Looked ugly. He missed 3 threes in the first half. Didn't take any in the second half. But he plays hard. I've enjoyed watching him ply his trade. Even though I don't think he's like a long-term NBA player. But he's been. The 2 games I've seen him play now, I've enjoyed the Nate Williams experience. On the other side, Desmond Bane had 30. Ja Morant had 23 and 9 dimes. 20 for Luke Kennard, who hit 5 of his first 6 three-pointers. Big body David Roddy had 16 off the bench. 17 for Jaren Jackson Jr. And the Grizzlies just made enough three-pointers and, frankly, just enough. They were able to, amazingly, they were able to hold off Skylar Mays and Shaq Harrison and Nate Williams down the stretch to win the final 8 minutes of this game that was tied at 101 with 8 minutes to go. I'm going to get mad now. The Blazers broke my spirit. They really did. I was watching this game and, come behind the curtain with me. You can pay attention to the man behind the curtain briefly. I don't know what I'm going to talk about on the show. Tank Watch is, you don't need to be beaten over the head with Tank Watch and who else is losing? Did the Wizards lose? Like, we'll catch up with it, right? Like, you don't need 8 minutes of that every single night. I kind of don't know what I'm going to talk about. Skylar Mays has 17 in the first half. Shaedon Sharpe looks really good in the first half. The Blazers are playing really good basketball. I'll come all the way behind the curtain. Why not? If I'm inviting you in, come all the way behind the curtain. I watched the first 3.5 quarters live. And then I went to go play basketball. I played pickup. Tuesday night's my pickup game. I went to go play pickup. I knew the Blazers were, at the time, they were down 1, right? Or down 2, actually, when I got in the car. Listened to the radio. Shout out to Travis Demers. But it was not quite the end of the third quarter when I got to hoops. I got back in my car after a couple hours later, went back, watched the game late. So I didn't watch the game till after 9:30 p.m. No idea. Like, I knew the outcome because I checked my phone, but I didn't kind of know the details of it. So I watched the final 3 minutes of the third quarter and the fourth quarter. And from sort of the time I watched the game to the time I took a break, is I was like, all right, well, we'll do fastest recap in the West. That's what we do. Is what people expect from the show. Talk about Skylar Mays, man. He's been so fun, and I guess we'll talk about Shaedon again. We'll do this. We're going to talk about Shaedon again. We're going to talk about Shaedon Sharpe, the despicable act of tanking, and the Blazers breaking my brain. We're going to talk about all of that. All of that in the second segment, because the Blazers have, not my brain necessarily, but my spirit. My spirit has been broken. Let's talk about that broken spirit in the second segment. Let's talk about Shaedon Sharpe. And then we'll talk about Skylar Mays, because I planned to have fun on the show anyways, so we're going to have fun to close it, but I'm going to get upset first. So join me there when I'm going to get frustrated, won't you? But before we do that, let me tell you about eBay Motors. For a championship team, it's all about making sure every player is a perfect fit. It's the same when it comes to your vehicle. Every part needs to be just right. So the next time you need parts and accessories, head to eBay Motors. With eBay Guaranteed Fit, you can be sure every part you need fits right the first time around. Just add your ride to My Garage. Look for the green check to know that part will fit or your money back. Because just like in sports, confidence is the name of the game when you shop on eBay Motors. And with over 122 million parts to choose from, you'll be back in the game in no time. After all, it's easy to bring home a win when the right parts are guaranteed. Get the parts right. Get the right parts. Get the right fit and the right prices on ebaymotors.com. Let's ride. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. All right. Yeah, I'm mad. Shaedon Sharpe took a step back jumper with 9 minutes to go in this game, cashed it out to score his 19th and 20th points. At that point, he was 8 of 17 from the floor. 20 points. Blazers up 5. They're going to do it again. They just beat the Minnesota Timberwolves. They look like they're going to go in and beat the Memphis Grizzlies. Tank be damned. They're going to have a fun game and win. Grizzlies come down, tie the game. Your boy Big Body David Roddy gets a bucket in transition, or kind of broken play, semi-transition, and ties the game at 101. And Chauncey Billups takes a timeout. When he takes a timeout, he subs out Shaedon Sharpe. And this immediately caught my attention. Again, I'm watching this on replay. Immediately caught my attention. I'm like, this is not something that Chauncey has done all year. He actually, it's one of my critiques of him, is that he doesn't buy guys middle minutes in the fourth quarter. Like if he starts one of his main dudes in the fourth quarter, he just plays them all 12. And I think a bunch of times this year, he's ended up overextending guys like Jeremy and Josh Hart and Damian Lillard by not getting them out of the game, by not saying, okay, you're going to play to the 8-minute mark, then you're going to sit to the 5-minute mark and come back. Dirk used to do this all the time back in the day for the Mavs. They'd in fact do a couple subs in the fourth quarter with Dirk. Like they'd buy him minutes in the middle quarters and then so he could be fresh in the final 5 minutes, or in the middle of the quarter, so he could be fresh in the final 5 minutes. So when Shaedon Sharpe goes out, I immediately clocked it, right? I said, oh, interesting. He's going to bring him back. Game keeps ticking. Grizzlies up 4. Grizzlies up 6 when Desmond Bane hits a 3, and the Blazers take a timeout. I'm like, all right, well, he's going to come back now. 4.5 minutes left, down 6. Like, they're probably going to lose, but he's going to come back now. Shaedon Sharpe doesn't come back in the game. And the Blazers hold out a 19-year-old rookie who was too good and going to be too helpful, and they were going to win the game with him on the floor. Shenanigans, amoral shenanigans, despicable disrespect to the basketball gods. They've already disrespected the basketball gods, or whoever might be the ruling energetic powers of this beautiful game. Fabricating injuries 2 years in a row. Intentionally creating a team that can't win games and rolling out a team that's not good enough to win is already amoral. You beat the Utah Jazz on the road, keep the vaguest, slimmest chances of making the play-in alive, and then you immediately shut Damian Lillard down, who had just by happenstance played 58 games, which is the minimum number you need to qualify for statistical league leaders at the end of the season. You'd already seen a team spoil the plan in Minnesota in a must-win game for the Timberwolves, but the Blazers played too well, and Shaedon Sharpe played too well in the final 4 minutes to execute the plan to lose. So you went a step further. And with 8 minutes left in a tie game on the road against the number 2 team in the West, you sat a 19-year-old rookie to ensure a loss. It's despicable, it's amoral, it's depressing, and it has broken my spirit. And the worst part about it is it's probably the right thing to do. And that is really why my spirit is broken. I'm kind of cool with tanking, like in general, but this was a level that I don't think I can co-sign. I don't think I can support. This sucks. You better believe they're going to make up a fake injury so Shaedon Sharpe doesn't play against the San Antonio Spurs, and you better believe there's a section of the fan base, even a large swath of the fan base, even that says, heck yeah. F that. Sorry, it's a family show. Heck that. It stinks. It stinks. It already stinks enough that they're holding out Damian Lillard on purpose and holding out Jeremy Grant on purpose. Jeremy Grant had a quad contusion that his coach said wasn't too bad, and they expect him back soon. He's going to miss 20 games to end the season. It sucks that we're not going to see Anfernee Simons and Yusuf Nurkic and see this team just play out the string. They were kind of mediocre. They were going to be right on the cusp of the play-in, but it stinks that we don't get to... It stinks that on Sunday, the Blazers are going to celebrate the season for Fan Appreciation Night. And how are they going to appreciate you? They're going to hold a teenager out of the game because he's too darn good. You're not going to see Dame. You're not going to see Ant. You're not going to see Jeremy. And you might not see Shaedon Sharpe because Shaedon Sharpe might be too good to play in the games because they have to lose. Stinks. It stinks. And it's defensible. It's probably the right move. Throw probably out. It's the right move. It's the right move. I talked about this on yesterday's show. You got to lose. They've done all this intentional losing, all of this injury fabrication, all of this, all of the things they have done on purpose and not on purpose. Like, they sucked for the first 60 games just of their own accord, and then they pulled the plug. Like 65 games maybe. They were bad, and they got themselves here because they were bad. They weren't good enough to be where maybe I don't think the Blazers wanted to be like a high level playoff team this year. Like, I saw the roster they built. I think at the beginning of the year, all of us, like, not all of us, it's not like a collective, but many folks thought this team was something like, every prediction I saw had the Blazers between like 36 and 43 wins. On the high end, 43, on the low end, 36. Like, they're going to slot in at 33 because they intentionally lost down the stretch, but they would have been right in there, right? They would have won 39 or 40 games. 38 maybe. But, and it's, the worst part is like, they got themselves into this mess, and then they turned the corner, just like they turned the corner last year and lost 21 of 23 to close the season. They're going to do the same thing down the stretch here, where they just are not playing competitive basketball on purpose at the end of the season. And I'm okay with, like, I get it. Like, I'm more mad at the system than the team. This particular night pushed me over the edge with, like, sort of my say nice things about the Trailblazers organization energy. I'm not going to freak out. That's not what I try to do. It's not really the brand here. It's like crazy rage, but I'm pretty blown away and disappointed. I'm straight up disgusted by it. It's disgusting. Play Shaedon Sharpe 8 minutes. If you win, like, it's important to lose. It's important to lose these games. They're doing the right thing. They're chasing Victor Wembanyama. It's a franchise changer. I get it, right? I said on yesterday's show a million times, you got to lose out. This is really important. I know they need to. But to do it like that, to be in a competitive and entertaining game for 40 minutes and 5 seconds, and then say, that's it. We aren't going to, no way our best player plays the rest of the game. And it's not a veteran. It is a 19-year-old, a rookie. And he's too good to play the final 8 minutes because he's probably going to help you win. What are we doing here? What is the point of basketball? It's to win a championship, or to lose like hell to convince the fan base that you can win a championship, to open that door a little bit. It stinks. I hate it. The final 7 minutes and 55 seconds of this game broke my spirit. It broke my spirit. Because, like I said in the first segment, I was ready to say nice stuff. I wanted to say nice things about this game. Win or lose, and the Grizzlies did their part to sort of couldn't handle the super tanking Blazers the same way the Timberwolves couldn't. But to pull Shaedon Sharpe for the final 8 minutes on purpose to lose midstream, to yank him out of the game. What's the point of this stupid sport? The NBA is broken. This is a product that needs to be fixed. This being an incentive is awful for fans. It's awful. So yeah, go buy a ticket on Sunday to see the Blazers. You'll see some dudes wearing Blazer jerseys, but you're not going to see the ones you wanted to see. It's despicable. Stinks. Watch when they get the number 1 overall pick. I'm going to be on here with like a party hat and a kazoo, pretending that I was with it all along. I'm with the plan. I get the plan. I'm not stupid. Like I know the vision. I hate that it's the right call. I hate it. It's broken my spirit. So let's end the show with some positivity. I got some positivity. I think Skylar Mays is an NBA player. Let's talk about what it takes to make the league. And let's talk a little about Skylar Mays, who's been really fun in a Blazers jersey. But first, Let me tell you about FanDuel. It's almost the NBA playoffs. A really fun time to get into FanDuel. You can download the #1 sports book in America. And right now, new customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's a bonus bet back if your first bet doesn't win. Just download the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Safe, secure, super easy to use. And then you can bet on everything from the money line to point scores to threes drained. Plus, FanDuel even lets you combine those bets for a chance at a bigger payout with the same game parlay. So don't miss your chance to get your no-sweat first bet up to $1,000 in bonus bets back when you go to FanDuel.com/lockedon. That's FanDuel.com/lockedon to learn more. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. Still a pass first point guard. Still Mike Richmond. You are still listening to Locked On Blazers. I told you I was going to get mad and I was going to end with positivity. I'm pro joy. I think why this season, or why this stretch, honestly, this game, why the final 8 minutes broke my spirit, is because I want to find joy in this stuff. The wins and losses don't move me too much. Obviously, I like basketball, so it's not like I don't care if they win. I enjoy a good game. And I was enjoying this game. It was fun. John Morant had a massive dunk all over Drew Eubanks. Arena's going nuts. And what did the Blazers do? They came down and fed Shaedon Sharpe. He cuts down the lane and throws down his own massive dunk. And and Taylor Jenkins, the Grizzlies coach, have to take a timeout. It says, y'all are busy celebrating. He's down here dunking on you. Anything he can do. I mean, Jaws' dunk was nuts because it was off the dribble, and Shaedon Sharpe's was a cut. But Shaedon Sharpe was a very cool dunk. Don't get it twisted. But I was having fun, right? I want to have fun. They kind of broke my spirit because I was looking for the joy. And I had found it with Skylar Mays. 17 in the first half. He has looked really competent since coming over. He's a 4-year college guy who was a late second round pick, 50th pick in the draft, spent 2 years with the Hawks, and then has been, kind of on the fringes of the league. And now he gets a chance. And real quick, why can't Damian Lillard get a DNP-CD? Why can't he just get a DNP-CD? Other players are allowed to get DNP-CDs. In fact, there are times when you think this dude should absolutely play and he gets a DNP-CD. He doesn't need to be on. That's a did not play coach's decision. Why does he got to have an injury? I don't get it. I mean, I do get it because they would get fined, right, for something. But he could get a DNP-CD. I don't understand why that's against the rules. I sort of do, but I don't. But because the Blazers are fabricated some injuries, I used to say exaggerated, but I'm over that now. Fabricated some injuries. Screw it. Fabricated some injuries. The Blazers get to sign guys to hardship deals. The Blazers have 3 players on hardship deals with Skylar Mays and Shaq Harrison, and also Justin Minaya, who they signed today. He's a 6'7" wing who was playing for the Mexico City G League team. He looked okay. He played 17 minutes tonight, finished with 8 points. He looks okay. Shaq Harrison's 29. He gets after it on defense, but he's got some real limitations. Missed a couple of layups in transition. He's a fringy NBA guy. Skylar Mays might be an NBA player. And I love his game. He plays at his pace. He plays super smart. He just knows how to play basketball. He manipulates pick and rolls at, 2 miles an hour, gets guys on his hip in jail, can hit floaters if you give him space, has a really good feel on his passes, sees the court really well, so he throws cross-court passes when you help in pick and roll. If you don't help, he's really good at waiting half a beat, so you either have to, the help has to retreat or the help has to commit, and then making that pass to a cutter. His floater game was really good in the first game. He shot it well. He shot it really well in this game. 4 of 6 from 3, 9 of 16 from the floor. Again, no turnovers in his 36 minutes, basically all on the ball. Finished with 24 points, a career high. It was great. 17 in the first half. Kept the Blazers, engineered that comeback for the Blazers. Had 11 in the second quarter as they scored 37 to make this a ball game from down 16 to a 4-point game heading into the break. He's really good. He's really good. He's is he a starting point guard in the league? Probably not. Is he a backup point guard in the league? Probably something like a backup or a third point guard in the league. But it makes me think of 2 things. One, if there is a silver lining to this Blazers nonsense, it's that folks like Skylar Mays get a chance, right? He's in the G League, he's doing his thing. You get, hey, come for 10 days. We're gonna play 6 games. You're gonna play a whole bunch. You're gonna be our starting point guard. This is your chance to either stick with us if it works, or play real NBA minutes in real NBA games. Timberwolves trying to make the playoffs. Memphis Grizzlies trying to guarantee the second overall pick. San Antonio Spurs trying to lose like all hell. That's gonna be a fun game. Clippers, Warriors probably both will need to win over the weekend. Like, you're gonna play a bunch of playoff teams. You're gonna be starting point guard against a bunch of playoff teams in the Western Conference. Come ply your trade. See what you can do, and have an opportunity. And he like really knows how to play basketball, appreciate a pass first point guard. But even tonight, he was, he just has a great feel for how to play. I think Lamar Hurd pointed out on the broadcast, there was one play where the Blazers were swinging the ball around and Skylar was off the ball, and he told Drew, like, hey, cut through. And cause Drew cuts through, his man has to follow him, and the help has to step up because Drew was in front of his man, and it's like half a step. Because of that half a step, Blazers get a clean shot. It wasn't Skylar Mays didn't get an assist. Drew Eubanks didn't touch the ball, but just like run through the paint and get their attention, that'll activate the help defense. That activates how they can play on the ball. We're going to get a jumper out of it. They did. They score. Dude knows how to play. Dude knows how to play basketball. So I'm thinking one thing. It's a silver lining of the Blazers' messy end of this season. It's cool. It's cool. I know that I think David Lillard should just be able to get a DNP CD, but because of the injury situation and the hardship exceptions that you're allowed to sign guys to because of all the injuries, guys like Skylar Mays get a chance. And also thinking about this, there are so many Skylar Mayses out there that just need that opportunity. There are so many. I think probably something like there's 450 roster spots in the league, and then two other spots on every team for two-way spots. So there's 510 jobs in the league if you include two-way spots. Something like 150 of them, which would be every starter in the NBA, those are a cut above. But I think the back, it's probably like a handful of bench players. So instead of 150, let's just call it an even 200. Let's say 200 players in the league, like, those dudes are locks, like locks. You're not, there's nothing you can do. I think that back 300, there's probably like 3,000 folks worldwide, 3,000 dudes worldwide, maybe more, who are capable of playing NBA minutes at like a relatively quality level. And it's just about opportunity and fit and a chance. And if you get those things, do you seize your moment? If you get 7 games in Skylar Mays, do you play well enough to make it happen? Right? Like, do you earn it in your 7 games, or do you struggle a little bit and it doesn't work out? Or moreover, do what teams want for the back end of their bench, do you not quite fit it? Because that's just the unfortunate world of how hard it is to stick in the league. Like I said, I think talent-wise, there's something like 10 times more NBA players than there are NBA spots for the back half of every rotation. And if you're picking the 5th guy or the 15th guy on the bench, I mean, the Blazers just don't carry one. Picking the 14th guy, they broke my brain. I'm whining about everything. But if you're picking the 15th guy, do you lean towards a raw 21-year-old Keon Johnson who's this freak athlete, and if you find his skills, he could be something really special? Or do you lean towards, for your 15th spot, Skylar Mays, who is, going to be 26 and is probably something close to the best version of himself right now and doesn't have this like ceiling that's way above what he is, but is like reliably productive in his minutes and useful? Most teams are going to go young and get that lump of clay they can hopefully mold into something special, go like, make that lump of clay into a true statue, right? Like into a piece of art. They're not going to go with a mostly finished product and say, yeah, just put that in the hallway. It looks great. They want to put, they want to take it to the studio and see if they can craft young players into something. That's how most teams treat the end of the bench. Not every team. Some teams want vets at the end of the bench. Some teams really, really value that. I don't know if I don't know if Skylar Mays will stick with the Blazers. I don't know if they will value on it. Who knows what their roster is going to look like. I don't even think it's worth speculating what their roster looks like now. I'm not straight up not going to do it. But what do they do? What do they do with the back half of the bench? Could he help? Absolutely. Absolutely. But is that what they want to do? And for whatever the roster might look like in the fall, is a 26-year-old who's like your backup or third point guard who can really help when you need him, but is what he is. Is that what you want? I don't know. So here's what I hope. If Skylar Mays doesn't land here in Portland, I hope that this cameo he gets in the final 7 days lands him a job somewhere in the NBA, because he can play. He can be a backup point guard in this league. He can help a team. He knows how to run pick and rolls. He knows how to facilitate. He knows how to operate an offense. There's real value in that. And I hope that this 10-day contract he got with the Blazers lets him show his value and leads to job creation, baby. Let's get this dude a job, because he's been a bunch of fun. Who knows what happens with the rest of these Blazer games? They play the Spurs next in Austin. Is Shaedon Sharpe going to play? I don't know. If he doesn't, will I whine about it? No, I won't. I promise. I did my whining. I got my whining out. I did 10 minutes of whining. I got my whining out. It's like I said I wouldn't whine about his minutes. I'm not going to whine about his minutes anymore. They lost. That's what they were supposed to do. Good job. We got more shows coming the rest of the week. Come back and join us. I appreciate you listening. I'll talk to you soon.